Last month I made a video on how to plant a vegetable garden. It's been about 4 or 5 weeks since then. Do you want to see how it looks now? Let's go take a look. When you take time to plant a garden, it feels good when you start seeing the fruits of your labors. In my garden, I planted pole beans and tomatoes and some beets and some squash. Let me show you what I need to do to keep this going. The beans are doing really well. These are pole beans, so they are looking for something to climb, and I don't have the twine for them to climb in. We'll tie a string about every 3 or 4 inches apart and drop them down until they get close to the ground. For this one, just so they kind of keep their order, I just loop it around this horizontal one so that it has a little more stability. These are looking for somewhere to climb. So we're going to get them started. This is my favorite part because then we get to see which ones win the race to the top. The tomatoes are taking off, so that's a good thing. I didn't have enough tomato cages for all the tomatoes when I planted them, and these are now pretty tall. So I had to go pick up a couple more tomato cages. The beets are at a point where we need to thin them. Where I've got a bunch close together, I'll need to thin them out, or you get a bunch of small ones instead of some nice big ones. There's a volunteer tomato too, so I guess I get to pull that one up. So here's a couple right next to each other. I'm going to pull this one up gently. The last planter box I have is squash. This mound came up, this mound came up. There is nothing here. And I planted one here. I had 4 seeds here, and it looks like they're all coming up. So I'm tempted to try to transplant one of these over here. The problem is their roots are probably intermingled, and it might be a risky surgery. But I'm into a little risk, so why not? I'm going to loosen the soil here, and there's the other 2. Okay, so I kind of have these now. I might regret this later, but we're going to put them in here, and we're just going to see if this will work. If not, I probably just cut my squash harvest. If you're growing up and your dad's not in your daily life, then make sure you click this link right there and download the Map to Manhood. It's a free guide that gives you the lessons and some of the actions you can do to help you minimize the risks that you're facing because you're growing up and your dad's not in your daily life. Now, since I've disturbed them, plants will go into shock when you transplant them. What that means is they don't necessarily die, they just kind of stunt for a little while and sit still and then usually take off again. I've also planted some wildflower seeds here in the corners of this box and the tomato box to invite pollinators. Hopefully we'll get bees that will come and help pollinate the squash. Squash needs to be pollinated, otherwise the fruit won't mature, kind of like humans. Since I did this, I'm going to give these a shot of Quick Start. At the store today, I bought a bell pepper. I'll put Swiss Chard by the beans and the bell pepper here. Roots up just a little bit. Put it in here. Get it to where the base is at base level. I'm going to go ahead and put some of the Quick Start in before I backfill it, and then we'll backfill it. We'll get the Swiss Chard in and we'll call it good for this time. I'm a little late in the season to be planting seeds for Swiss Chard. So I bought some starts. Unfortunately, it only comes in a 6-pack. This is going to be kind of crowded, but I hate to waste them. I'll probably do 1, 2, I might as well do 3 here. And some of these truffula trees that I planted in this planter box didn't make it. I'm going to put one of the Swiss chard in this pot and we'll see how it does. Let's see, that one looks the best. Pull that one out there. This one probably looks next best. Do that one here. Do that one there. You know this channel is for young men growing up without a dad. It's for you. So why do I think a young man without a dad would want to know how to grow a vegetable garden? Most of you probably won't. I'm hoping that you'll realize that you can learn how to do this stuff even if your dad hasn't been there to show you how. If you didn't see the first video where we planted this garden, then watch that one here. Right now it looks like we're on track to have a good harvest in a couple of months. But we got to keep an eye on things, weeds, water, and any pests that cause problems for our vegetable garden. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll do another check-in in another month. If you're growing up and your dad's not in your daily life, I hope you always remember that you can still succeed and you do have a dad that loves you. And I will see you on the next video.